There is a popular quote that says, "If it's too good to be true, it most likely is." And this was exactly the case with the craziest Ponzi scheme many Nigerians fell for. MMM, please close your eyes and imagine this. You meet a magician who gives you a magic basket, where if you put your money in, it increases by 30% within 30 days without you doing anything. Wouldn't you be tempted to give it a trial? Right. This was what MMM had promised Nigerians, and like dominoes, thousands of people fell for the tall tales and promises of wealth. The year was 2015. MMM had just launched in Nigeria and described itself as a social financial network of people providing help and getting help from each other. It was met with excitement, fanfare, and high user adoption, despite having a very dark history. This is the crazy story of how over 3 million Nigerians were defrauded and lost billions of naira in a carefully executed fraud scheme. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing stories like this. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Help us achieve that. The dark history of MMM. MMM started in Russia in the 1990s, but then it collapsed just a few years after, losing an estimated $100 million belonging to its members. During this period, they promised their members annual returns of up to 3,000%. The Russian government then jailed the founder, Sergei Mavrodi, and outlawed the scheme. He was later released in 2007. The name MMM was coined from the first letters of the founder's surnames, Sergei Mavrodi, Vyacheslav Mavrodi, and Olga Melnikova. Sergei Mavrodi, the mastermind and eccentric Russian mathematician, presented MMM as a financial network outside of traditional banking systems, where existing investors could get returns off the funds from newer investors. To attract investors, MMM in Russia put up extremely attractive returns of over 1,000% and advertised their company aggressively. Soon enough, many naive people put their money into the company, urged friends and families to join, and the scheme prospered. It was a huge success in Russia as they were making about $50 million per day. This success didn't last long though before Sergei, the founder, was arrested and jailed for tax evasion and the company's assets were frozen. The company shut down in 1994 and was declared bankrupt in 1997. What happened to all the money and the investors, you may ask? Well, most of them never saw their money again and only a few people got some of their money back. Now, this was Russia's case. In 2011, Mavrodi started targeting developing countries in Asia and Africa. This time, he promised a 30% monthly return in addition to other promotional offers. Some of the countries he targeted included Nigeria, South Africa, India, China, Kenya, and so on. This action and targeting were deliberate, as developing countries are more prone to being victims of fraud. MMM in Nigeria. When MMM launched in Nigeria, members could either sign up themselves or with the help of a guider. A guider is also a member who gets commissions for recruiting more investors. Members could invest as little as 15,000 naira, and this gets paid directly to another member. Then after 30 days, members who have invested could reap their invested amount along with an additional 30%. This is also gotten from other invested members. Guiders get a 10% cut of the new members' investments. MMM spread like wildfire. They executed an aggressive campaign to get the product into the hands of their victims. They leveraged communities to recruit new members, from churches to schools, associations, offices, and so on. Everybody was talking about the scheme and trying to convince and recruit the next person. People invested different amounts from a few thousand to multiple millions of naira. This got so bad that even churches in Nigeria, like the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, had to warn their members against participating in the scheme. But this mostly fell on deaf ears as there were success stories of the scheme flying around the country. Almost every Nigerian watching this must have known at least 5 persons who were into this scheme and actively preaching its goodness too. This also created a sense of urgency as those who hadn't joined the scheme felt as though they were missing out on a very important opportunity. Anyone who wasn't keying into the scheme was considered a dunce. This further increased the number of people involved. Also, as a result of the high adoption and success stories recorded, Hundreds of other similar Ponzi schemes were launched in the country to take advantage of the publicity. Some of these schemes include ABC Donor, Twinkas, and Ultimate Cycler, and they offered even juicier rates than MMM. Some offered as much as 200%. Even popular economists warned against the MMM scheme. They rightly said that the scheme preyed on the economic recession and citizens' desire for quick wealth. At this time, MMM's website was already the 5th most visited website in Nigeria, even more popular than Facebook at the time. But who knew? Nigerians were sitting on a keg of gunpowder, waiting to explode. The imminent collapse. Trouble started on the 13th of December, shortly after the platform celebrated its first anniversary. MMM Nigeria announced the freezing of all accounts on their platform. They said this was due to a systems overload, and as anything that had to do with people's money, this action led to panic across the country. There were already over 3 million users registered on the MMM platform at this time. There were even attempted suicides from users who had large amounts of money on the platform. People invested their life savings, school fees, family upkeep money, business proceeds, and so on into this platform. A freezing of all accounts is bound to raise eyebrows and spread panic. Were these users right to panic after this systems overload announcement? Or were their fears going to be allayed by the people behind the scheme? One theory that many people had about the freezing of accounts in December was that the MMM platform witnessed a lot of withdrawal requests in that period. This was due to the festive season, and as with all festive seasons, people tend to spend more. As a result, withdrawal requests were a lot more than the new people joining. On the 11th of February 2017, the platform announced that they were lifting the withdrawal limits placed in December of the previous year. However, this came with a twist. Now, users who invested in 2016 could no longer withdraw their money unless they added new money, while others who invested in 2017 could withdraw as usual. They did this to encourage the influx of new users into the platform again. But the trust was already broken. Since its return in 2017, users stopped receiving their capital or the interest provided on it. Suddenly, it dawned on everyone that the platform was in fact dead. As of March 2017, it was estimated that victims of this fraudulent platform had lost over 18 billion naira. This was equivalent to over $60 million. What came after? The aftermath of this was disastrous. There were rumored suicides of victims, people took to social media to share their displeasure, and WhatsApp groups were chaotic. Nigerians had invested different amounts in this scheme, and it had broken their trust and scammed them all of their hard-earned money. This also caused a strain in societal relationships as people began to blame and hate those who introduced them to the scheme. To combat the repercussions of this, the Lagos State Emergency Management released a statement to urge residents of the state to dial 112 if they run into anyone trying to commit suicide. This was how badly the crash impacted everyday Nigerians who were only looking to escape the harsh economic realities, albeit in a greedy manner. This all sounds outrageous to you, right? Now imagine how devastating it must have been to the investors, knowing that their money was gone forever. The psychological trauma this Ponzi scheme had on Nigerians was so terrible that there was barely any trust for even genuine investment opportunities. And nobody was punished for it. The founder of MMM, Sergey Mavrodi, never got prosecuted by the Nigerian government for this, nor was he rearrested by the Russian government. Mavrodi, however, died of heart problems at the age of 62 at a hospital in Moscow. His funeral was funded by the investors of the MMM scheme he ran in 2011. After this period, one would think that nobody would easily fall prey to other fraudulent schemes. But there are always people gullible and greedy enough to fall prey to the schemes. While other Ponzi schemes have emerged, none has been able to top the Ponzi scheme of the century, MMM. Did you experience the MMM era? Did you participate in or lose money? Tell us about your experience in the comments section. Please also like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We're aiming to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year.